Well, I keep saying Carlos, so why don't we slide on over to the White Sox?
Nice
And we're
segue.
gonna hear a lot of the same names talked about in this segment too, as I think our AL Central teams probably what's going to be really funny depending on how the offseason continues for the Tigers. And we know the White Sox already have a solid base. They're probably going to be picked as the front runners to win the AL Central, which is going to make this podcast a hell of a lot more interesting in
Hmm.
2022. But one Carlos Rodon was not offered his qualifying offer of $18.4 million. I think there's two sides. There's multiple layers to this as to why that didn't happen. Of course, there was an uproar of all the novices on Twitter, and I will continue to call you novices because you seem to be more ignorant of how baseball works by every passing second of the off season. But they should have made a qualifying offer so they could get something for him.
Mm.
Well, here's the problem. If you make the qualifying offer and he doesn't get anything better, which word on the street is Boris is looking for a multi-year deal, and teams are a little hesitant on giving him a multi-year deal because of how his season ended.
With good reason. Well, with how his career has gone,
Well, yeah. Well, you've got.
he's
Let's
not
see.
a healthy
There's
guy.
more. There's more negative than there is positive.
Yeah,
You have 4 months. Well, all right. He's had some. He has half seasons of
exactly.
positive play. That does not get you a multi-year contract. Sox did not want to tie up $18.4 million in case that ended up being like, I am going to take the qualifying offer. I'm not getting anything better. Um, Carlos Rodon did come out and say he would have denied it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, fine. So there was too much risk involved from the White Sox point of view to make him a qualifying offer and have it backfire and have him take it because they you need him for the playoffs and you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
So that was the number one like big hubbub over the off season
It
so
also
far.
they didn't have to just give him a 1 year $18 million qualifying offer. They could have given him a multi-year deal, couldn't they? If they
Uh,
wanted.
that I you know what I
I'm
cannot
pretty sure
answer
they
that.
can. So I think that sends all the messages you need to know. They were not willing to sign him to a multi-year deal, let alone a 1 year deal,
Right.
for that much money. So I think they're kind of just done with Rodon, just because he's a shitty guy or anything. They were done with him last year. They put him on waivers, and brought him
Yeah.
back. So they just did not want to pay him that much money because you can't rely on him. We've seen it over and over again. The the
Yes.
the upside is incredible, but is he going to be on the field is the biggest issue. So I
Exactly.
it's a hard, it's a harsh business reality of baseball, but I think it was the right move by Rick Hahn for sure.
Then, as announced by someone we'll be talking about a little bit later in this podcast, Bob had tweeted that the Sox were going to sign and trade Kimbrel. They're going to pick up his option and then trade him away. Well, they definitely picked up his option, but one thing that hasn't been considered, as we pointed out on Twitter, as Bob was taking his victory lap, that he got half of it right, was that perhaps they signed Kimbrel to use him in half a season as a closer and possibly trade him, as Smitty has pointed out, when his market value is extremely high because there's no you could sit down Hendricks and say, listen, we are going to utilize you guys as dual closers for half of a season.
and,
Or
and
maybe it
see
just
what
works,
happens.
or maybe it works out that is just you just have one of the greatest bullpens, the greatest end of the bullpen ever created.
Well, this is what we thought when they made the deal for
Right.
Kimbrel. I mean, because it didn't work out in those 2 months. Why is there zero potential for it to work out? I think it didn't
It,
work out because your fucking manager couldn't get it into his head that maybe you should switch things around. We talked about this over and over again.
I mean, you want to talk about a way to keep two great guys fresh? You alternate closing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you alternate. Like you don't even use you have to refill the bullpen, for your setup guys, but you essentially just have two closers out there that going into the half season mark have only been used half of their capacity. So
Right.
you're super fresh down the stretch.
Yeah.
And flip side is if you need reinforcements, you've got Kimbrel as trade bait if he's
There's an
doing what he did with the
injury.
Cubs. Yeah.
So the idea that Rick Hahn had to sign Craig Kimbrel. They had to sign him because
It just
if they didn't,
for what they gave up.
Yeah, because you would be giving away your second baseman of the future for nothing. So they have to roll the dice that Kimbrel is going to raise his trade value, or he's going to be a valuable asset to a potential championship team going forward. So
right,
it's just stupid that he had, like everyone is saying, and especially Bob Nightingale saying he must be traded this winter. It's just, why would you be trading him at the lowest point in his value? Where, I mean, he just gets one save in the regular season and he's already increased his value.
Exactly. And
you got to roll that dice.
And when you look at the Sox within that time frame, right after. I'm sorry because I've been taking notes the whole time we haven't done a show.
But then we don't do these every week.
They outrighted 3 relievers. So they obviously need people in the bullpen. They outrighted Jimmy Cordero, Evan Marshall, your buddy Cordero, so you won't be seeing him.
Oh, Jesus.
Jace Fry, and then they outrighted Brian Goodwin. But
wow,
Marshall has to have Tommy John surgery. So the speculation is they will probably sign him to a minor league deal and let him rehab so he doesn't take up a spot on the 40-man roster.
Sure.
So, but you're down 3 bullpen arms right there.
Yeah.
So why would you get rid of Craig Kimbrel right now when you need arms in the bullpen? And I'm not gonna discount the guy on a trade and a fit that didn't work out immediately. You can come in with a better plan for the full season and get the quality out of them you need. And again, whether that you use them the whole year and it leads the Sox to a deeper postseason, I could give a shit if we have dual closers. I just want to win. So let's just think about this like intelligent human beings on multiple and even when Hahn was asked about it, Hahn said, we have to think about utilizing Kimbrel correctly or getting a fair trade value out of them if that's the case. Now, the only team that's been linked to a off-season deal is apparently the Phillies are just chomping at the bit for a closer, and they've been linked to Kimbrel, Hader, and Jensen.
Okay.
So that could be, and Dombrowski and Kimbrel have a history together. So that seems like a possible off-season suitor that could bring the proper return.
But again, if there's multiple options out there for the Phillies, why would they back up the truck just for Craig Kimbrel?
True.
They can just use how shitty he was down the stretch against them, against the White Sox in their negotiating.
The Sox would use in negotiating. Well, we fucked up, which is not a good tactic, but but look at his numbers
position.
Look at his numbers as a closer. Yeah. And he did actually close 2 games flawlessly for us, so they can use that too.
I'm not I guess I'm not saying it cannot happen this winter. The logic makes no sense to me. So, and that seems to be the prevailing logic that he has to be traded this winter. If there is a scenario or a dumb GM on the other side that gives up a ton for Kimbrel, that doesn't use the leverage they should have, then great, great for the White Sox. But that I don't think the other sides of any of these trades are those organizations are not necessarily run by idiots.
No,
unless they're the Mets, I guess. But that's a whole other story.
And one last parting ways I wanted to cover, which is actually kind of fitting. The White Sox had a lot of weird injuries this year with mainly with body parts ripping away from bones. And I think sort of due to that, their strength and conditioning coach, who's been part of the organization since 1998, Ellen Thomas, former White Sox player, not very good one, and has been let go. So he gone. So the Sox are turning the page and looking to keep the team healthy and on the field.
Wow.
In other news, you brought up Marcus Semien, and he has been linked to the White Sox also as a reunion in a 5-year deal. The thing we have talked about is he would prefer to play shortstop over second base is word on the street. So that could be a sticking point. Much like the Tigers, the White Sox have financial flexibility too that wouldn't prohibit them from signing anyone big. Wouldn't even prohibit them from signing Carlos Correa if Tim Anderson were to move over to second. But
just the history suggests that the White Sox are not willing to spend that kind of money, I guess.
Well, the history would say they haven't landed that guy, but recent history would say they've made the decent enough offers to some of those pitchers, but they chose to go elsewhere. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would like it. I think that fills a much needed void after the aforementioned Kimbrel trade.